If you made it to this video, it wasn't by chance. Something greater guided you here. And as you listen to these words, know this. You are about to discover something that has remained hidden for millennia. Something that runs through every era of human history, yet has never been fully revealed. There is a weapon inside you. I'm not talking about physical strength. I'm not talking about technology or worldly power. I'm talking about something that transcends matter, something empires feared. Darkness tried to erase, and history itself refused to fully document. It is a spiritual weapon, conscious, alive, and only the chosen carry it. Have you ever felt like you don't belong in this world? Have you noticed that your mind questions what everyone else simply accepts? Have you realized that even when you fall, something inside you rises stronger than before? This is not luck. This is not coincidence. It is the manifestation of this inner weapon, one that very few human beings throughout history have been able to fully access. And today, in this very moment, it is awakening within you. Throughout the centuries, there were those who tried to encode this force, prophets who spoke of it in parables, spiritual warriors who used it to confront invisible giants, sages who were silenced because they knew too much. But the truth is this. This weapon was never fully recorded because it cannot be contained in words. It is experienced. It is felt. It is activated. And if you are here right now, it's because you are beginning to feel it. Let's be clear. The world we live in is governed by systems that depend on one single principle, keeping you ignorant of who you truly are. Because the moment you discover the weapon you carry within, you become uncontrollable. You can no longer be manipulated. You can no longer be bent. You become a threat to everything that is false, superficial, and illusory. This weapon has gone by many names throughout history, but none of them fully capture its essence. Some have called it divine discernment, others, spiritual authority. Some identified it as the spark of the Creator, that eternal flame that burns within a chosen soul and cannot be extinguished by any external force. But what all these names share is this. This weapon only manifests in those who were set apart, marked, anointed for a purpose beyond human comprehension. Have you noticed how certain people can see through others' masks? How some souls have an almost supernatural ability to detect lies, manipulation, and falsehood without a single word being spoken? That's not paranoia. That's not judgment. That is the weapon at work. It cuts through illusions like a sword through a veil. And when you carry it, the world around you begins to react. Because here's the truth no one told you. The world cannot tolerate the presence of someone who sees too much. Entire systems were built to neutralize people like you. Corrupted religions, social structures, toxic relationships, false environments. Everything has been designed, consciously or unconsciously, to make you doubt this weapon, to make you believe you're crazy, to make you feel guilty for seeing what others cannot. But the truth is, you are not crazy. You are awake. And to many, that is unbearable. Think of the great names in spiritual history. Think of those who faced crowds with nothing but words and conviction. Think of those who were thrown into pits, persecuted, exiled, ridiculed, and yet remained firm. What did they have? Political power, armies, wealth? No, they had this weapon. They had the ability to connect to something greater, something that human hands could not touch, something that burned within them with such intensity that no external force could extinguish it. And you have it, too. But let me be even more direct. This weapon is not passive. It's not something you simply carry without consequences. It transforms you. It isolates you. It places you in positions where you must choose between truth and social acceptance. It makes you feel out of place in environments where everyone else seems comfortable. It makes you question everything, including yourself. And that is exactly why so few people throughout history have managed to fully activate it. Most give up. Most choose comfort. Most prefer to be accepted rather than to be true. But you are not most people. If you've watched this video up to this point, it's because something inside you refuses to give up. Something is shouting that there is more, that you were made for more, that your life cannot be reduced to patterns, expectations, or limitations imposed by a world that doesn't even truly know you. Now, let's talk about the nature of this weapon, because it is not one-dimensional. It is not just one thing. It is a combination of spiritual forces that, when aligned, create something beyond what any ordinary human being can comprehend. First, there is discernment, not the shallow judgment people confuse with wisdom, but deep discernment, one that comes from beyond the mind. The ability to sense intentions before they are spoken. The ability to identify darkness disguised as light. Knowing when something is wrong, even when everything looks perfectly right on the surface. This discernment doesn't come from books or worldly experience. It comes from a direct connection to the divine. It is a gift hand, one of the most powerful layers of this weapon. Second, there is spiritual resilience. Have you noticed how some people break at the first sign of adversity, while others go through entire hells and still rise? That's not ordinary willpower. That's something being sustained from above. It's the weapon at work, creating a resilience that defies all human logic. You may be knocked down 1,000 times, but something inside you always pulls you back up. Always. And the more you are tested, the stronger this resilience becomes. Third, there is inner authority, not arrogance, not the need to dominate others, but that quiet presence that makes people around you feel you carry something different. The ability to speak and be heard without shouting. The ability to command respect without demanding it. That undeniable energy that makes even those who despise you recognize, deep down, that you are not like the others. This authority is not built, it emanates, and it comes directly from this inner weapon. And finally, but no less important, there is a direct connection with the divine. I'm not talking about performative religiosity. I'm not talking about empty rituals or inherited traditions. I'm talking about a direct line of living, pulsating communication between you and the source of all things. That inner voice that guides you when everything is dark. That inexplicable peace in the middle of chaos. That certainty that needs no external validation because it comes from within, from a sacred place no one else can access. These 4 layers, when combined, create the most powerful weapon that exists, and it is inside you. But here's what makes all of this even deeper. This weapon has been under attack since the beginning of time, because it represents a direct threat to everything that seeks to control, enslave, and deceive humanity. Entire empires were built to silence those who carried it. Wars were fought, books were burned, prophecies were distorted, all to ensure this force would not awaken on a massive scale, because if it did, the game would be over. Have you noticed how people who carry this weapon are treated differently? How they are isolated, misunderstood, labeled, how they are called crazy, radical, arrogant, or dangerous simply for refusing to conform. That's not accidental. It's an ancient strategy, a way to discredit the truth before it gains strength. But the truth is unstoppable, and you, as a bearer of this weapon, are too. Now let me ask you a few questions. Answer honestly, because this is how you recognize the weapon within you. Have you ever felt like you were living in a world that wasn't made for you? That the rules don't make sense? That people's priorities feel empty? That everything seems too superficial to be real? Have you ever gone through situations where you were humiliated, rejected, or abandoned and yet somehow came out stronger on the other side? Have you ever walked into a place and immediately felt that something was wrong, even when no one else noticed? Have you ever been accused of being too intense, too deep, too serious, as if the way you see the world were a problem? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then the weapon is operating within you, and the more you recognize it, the stronger it becomes. But there is something important I need to tell you. This weapon is not activated automatically. It does not manifest simply because you were born with it. It must be recognized, accepted, and exercised. It must be nourished with truth, silence, prayer, reflection, and courage. It grows when you choose truth over lies, discomfort over falsehood, when you choose to remain standing even while everyone around you is bowing. And here is the most powerful part of all. This weapon is awakening now, at this exact moment in history, because the time has come, the time of separation, the time of revelation, the time when the chosen must rise and assume who they were always destined to be. The world is in chaos, and this chaos is not accidental. It is the necessary stage for this weapon to be fully activated, because pressure forms the diamond, darkness makes the light more visible, and in the midst of confusion, the chosen finally understand who they are. You are being prepared. Everything you went through, every betrayal, every disappointment, every moment of loneliness, every tear shed was part of the activation process. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was by chance. Everything was orchestrated to bring you here, to this moment of awakening. And now, you have a choice. You can ignore all of this. You can return to the comfort of unconsciousness. You can pretend you felt nothing while watching this video. Or, you can accept it, recognize it, consciously activate this weapon, and begin walking in the purpose for which you were created. Because the world doesn't need more people who merely exist. The world needs chosen ones who know who they are, and are not afraid to carry the light even when it means walking alone. You were marked. You were sealed. You were anointed. And this weapon inside you is the proof. So what will you do now? Will you continue doubting yourself? Or will you finally accept that you are different because you were made to be different? That you see more because you were destined to guide? that you suffered more because you were forged to endure what others cannot. This is your hour. This is your moment. And this weapon beyond all of human history is pulsing within you, waiting for you to say yes. Say yes to the truth. Say yes to purpose. Say yes to who you truly are. If this video touched something within you, if you felt that every word was spoken directly to your soul, then do this. Comment the word activated below. This word is more than a comment. It is a spiritual declaration that you recognize the weapon within you and are ready to walk in your purpose. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now and activate the bell, because this journey is just beginning. More revelations are coming, and you won't want to miss any of them. You were chosen. Now it's time to act like it.